Guys, lower schoolers, if I point to one of you, just stand up and just let somebody walk through, and then just come up to the camera, introduce yourself, and then ask your question. Make sure you're loud enough that he can hear you, okay?
I removed black rhino from existing populations, and I use those animals, about 20 animals each year, to create new populations in a new place.
So this is Win. This is Win. He wants to know what the horn is made out of.
Great. Hello, Win. Well, that's a good question, because a lot of people want horn, unfortunately. And horn is nothing more than keratin, which is a protein, which is hard as it's like the horn of a cow or the toes of a cow. It's just or your fingernails. It's the same sort of stuff, and it's much more dense than your fingernails. And it's really hard. I mean, it's like rock. And you've obviously heard of rhinos being poached. And they poach the rhino because they want that horn. And that horn is used in traditional medicines in the Far East, in China and Vietnam. And the saddest thing about it is that it has absolutely no medicinal value.
What steps from our side can be taken to support the effort?
Question. I mean, short of coming here and doing field work, which is not very easy to organize, the main thing we need is money, and of course moral support is always welcome, but it costs an enormous amount of money to protect these rhino.
Well, I wanted to ask, what is the most dangerous part about transporting a rhino onto your preserve?
Okay, well, I would say, Harry, that the most dangerous thing is actually the drugging of the rhino, because first of all we have to catch them from the wild, and we knock them out with very strong anesthetic drugs, and once they're drugged there's not much that you can do, because they just run along without being very conscious. And we've had animals unfortunately go over cliffs or end up in a hole upside down. You can do something with the ones in the holes, but you can't save an animal that's going over a cliff, unfortunately. And we have had one die that way. So that is probably the most dangerous part for the rhino.
Hi, my name is Kemper, and I wanted to know, why did you get so interested in black rhinos?
Oh, yes. Well, since I was a very young man, I always wanted to be a vet, and I wanted to be a vet for wild animals. And that's what I was for many, many years, a wildlife vet, a veterinarian in the Kruger National Park, you may have heard of, and came back to South Africa. I was asked to start this Black Rhino range expansion project, which was a logical thing to do in view of my experience.
My name is Lilly, and my question is there any way that you can, without hurting the rhino, remove the horn?
Absolutely. Good question. In fact, many people with the rhinos on their private land do remove the horn, because that way it becomes less attractive to poachers. And one of the problems for people who don't remove the horn is that they are the only ones with horn and are therefore targeted by poachers.
What is the environmental impact that black rhinos have? In other words, are there any benefits to the environment?
But black rhino, because they eat trees and leaves and seeds and flowers and all that sort of thing from bushes and trees, they actually help propagate seeds of those plants. The other thing black rhino do is they bring branches down to a lower level by either pushing the plant, bush or tree down, so it becomes accessible to other browsers who may want things like Nyala or kudu, if you've heard of those kind of species that live in the same area. So they make plants available, or food available, to other smaller browsers. The other thing they do is what I call ecological engineering. They actually create paths, for one, because they're big and their footprints leave a big mark in the grass, so they create paths for other animals. They also create water holes for other animals because they love wallowing in mud. And so when they find a little patch of mud, they will lie in that mud, and when they get up, when they've refreshed themselves, they always on their rough skin carry away a whole load of mud that sticks to the skin. And that way these wallows, as we call them, get bigger and bigger thanks to Black Rhino.
My name's Lilly. I'm a senior at North Cross, and I was wondering what kind of places you look for when you're moving the rhinos.
Well, we have a number of criteria that help us decide whether a place is good or not for Black Rhino. First of all, we look at the security. Nowadays, we look at the security of the place. So it's got to be fenced properly to contain the rhino. We look for an area that's at least 20,000 hectares, 200 square kilometers, because we want our rhino populations to be able to grow to at least 50 animals. Anything smaller and it's not really worthwhile. So size of the place is obviously going to be good habitat. There's got to be suitable browse species within that ecosystem.
Hello, sir. My name is Kylie, and my question is, where is the main location where you are doing your research on the black rhinos?
We're also going to work in Mozambique, which is the country to the east of us. And Botswana, we also have committed to help them, and Malawi now wants me to move rhino there. So, so far we've worked within South Africa on the eastern side of the eastern half of the country, but we will most likely move outside South Africa very
Well,
shortly.
this has really been a true gift for us. Really, thank you for your time. Boys and girls, can you say thank you?
Well, thank you for the questions, and good luck with your biology, whatever this falls under.
Yes, sir. Well, take care of yourself, and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks again for your time.
Okay then, goodbye.
Okay, hey guys, that was great. Fantastic.